Good morning, everyone. So markets came back from a little dip last night and started off higher. I think even Asia was up. It went down. Things come back. Maybe all of this is on the inflation news. And the numbers I saw didn't look like anything of significance happened. I didn't watch the news, but hey, how people interpret things, who knows? But anyway, where are we at? So yesterday, big gap up and followed through. And after a little dip and jiggling around. So starting off the day up close to where it ended off, a little bit higher. Not a big deal. There's got room to go up, looking at the futures to where there's some resistance here. Um, it's kind of the same everywhere. I can go through these relatively quickly. So it was mostly tech, as you can see. The S&Ps are up against that pivot and the 200 MA, the futures anyway. They haven't decisively closed above it. Got a whole number there, 5,800. You know, remember it was getting stuck at 5,700, blasted through 58. So now, for the moment, it's stalled at 59. And the Russell hit resistance, it backed off. All right, so small caps um, were relatively weak in the morning. We had a little short there in the green room. I know I did, Alex did, and it worked out well. I'm looking at the 5 minute chart going back. Yes, yesterday it was right here actually. Yesterday, right around here on the 5 minute, there was a little correction bar popped up and came back in again, and we got this move to the downside. That was all I did yesterday. But yeah, things are coming back overnight. Just an inside bar, not a big deal. And as the numbers are out, whatever, there's nothing of significance coming out later today. And tomorrow is kind of a yawn, some oil things, and then PPI on Thursday. So maybe the market's got a free pass as far as news goes, as far as economic news goes. Who knows what'll come out of, who knows, tariffs and Trump and so on and so forth. If you caught um, yesterday, where the comment was the European Union, and did he use the word worse or terrible, evil? Worse than China. Worse than China. So, done fighting with China, off to the European Union. And I guess mysteriously, it was kind of interesting that the drug companies that were already down had reversal days after the news, but having fallen into the news, probably somebody knew what was coming. We'll see if the drug prices really fall significantly. He's going to sign this executive order if he hadn't already. And I think drug prices are going to be dropping 50 to 80%. Let's see. Talk is cheap. Let's see. All right. Um, Gold up a little, hanging on this support area. Yesterday morning, we said, hey, markets are up on the news. Gold is down. That's what it's supposed to do, but it's holding support. Well, let's see. It's a wide, whippy little range going on here. After a couple of days or two, does it break down below here? We're waiting to see. Silver, I got my alert up here. Maybe it can clear these highs or not. I don't know. There's a little rejection. I'm getting up there. Question is, does it actually follow through? Just marking time and waiting. Crude oil is up again within this downtrend, maybe almost to a sideways trend. Based on retracement, we'll see if it can tag the declining 50 MA. and all this resistance, what it does here. Um, so no significant information to take away from there, other to see whether this continues to advance or not. Um, I think a couple of things. We're always paying attention to something. I'll get to this one first. On a positive note, transports kicked it in. Maybe it's all because of, the tariff thing. Uh, they're up against these pivot highs there, but that's a really good start. I think last week we talked about, from a positive point of view, we wanted to see these transports bring up the rear, and they certainly did in truckers and rails. They performed yesterday, and how they act in the coming days will give us information to whether we want to, put on positions on some of those. Right now, they're probably, the kind of patterns for credit spreads, not directional. And you see the JBHT, bottoming, big move up into resistance. So we're going to want to see how they react. Now, this is something that's been going down the whole time, right? And showing relative weakness as well as the rails. And you can see that the way that came up. Now, no matter where we look, right, we look at things that outperformed. And so we go and look at, say, the Qs outperformed. And where are they here? About where they were yesterday and after that resistance. So the depth of this retracement is a good thing, but it's coming up to areas where we know selling is going to increase. And, yesterday in the green room, Alex asked about this being a correction bar, and I explained, no, it's not a correction bar because this is a correction bar, this bar right here, because it broke the low. We spoke about that a week ago. This didn't break any low. It just dipped down. So is it intraday, it would be some type of downside shakeout because it dipped. So from an intraday point of view, the bottoming tail bar intraday would have shown some kind of correction on some time frame, like here, this right here. As it broke down and it flipped right back up again to suggest it could go higher, but not from the daily time frame perspective. And so when we say correction bar in the time frame you're looking at, it has to violate one or two bars lows, and then come back up toward the high of the day. Now, this is at resistance. Everything's at resistance, which means we have to every day, pretty much, we check our market internals. And we now have a sell. This is up into that area. It doesn't mean it won't go up today. This finally is into the lower bands. This one isn't. So it doesn't even have to go up a lot. Just going up a little, which would continue to maintain the bullish enthusiasm from yesterday. Price is moving up a little more. I'd like to see this one up in there too. And ideally, they puncture into that upper band there. And then we will see within the coming week or so, things will start rolling over. No evidence of that yet. So we'll continue to monitor that. What news or data will adjust those internals quickly? I don't know. Could be any news. Whatever market participants' perception of the news is what will move them quickly. So when they moved quickly here, right, this moved quickly here, it was backing off on tariffs. So it's the perception of the news. And so if we should see some news that appears to be positive and the markets act negative to it, that would be an indication that the market is tired. Right? So then we'll see topping tails or breakout failures, the typical things that we see when markets begin to make a turn. So, all right. I don't usually look at the bond market. Sometimes it provides a little more clarity, sometimes than looking at interest rates. And this is a giant upside shakeout with this move up and then it flips back down again. And we should all be very interested or focused on what this does here. It's stabilized here this morning, but this certainly has the look of something. And we've seen things that have the look of something and reverses violently. But anyway, you know, we have to make decisions based on what the now is. And so this is something that needs to be kept an eye on to see if the bond market continues to decline, which means interest rates would go up. And at some point, with our internals the way they are, if they do, as bond prices continue to decline and interest rates go up, you'll hear news about that and whatever those implications are. I mean, obviously, interest rates going up increases the cost of money, um, which would have the effect of some kind of, you know, slowing of the economy. I don't know that the economy is roaring away or whatever the news are. I mean, depending on who you talk to, right? It's always, you know, perception again. Oh, the economy is doing fine. The jobs, and who's got all those jobs? Right? Illegal immigrants. That why? What if they loaded up the old Air Force One and just started deporting, you know, 10 million at a clip? You'd find out about those jobs. Anyway, so we looked at oil, we looked at gold, we looked at silver, we looked at the futures, we're looking at interest rates. Those are the bond market. And so, they're down here a little bit, but breaking out above a pivot. They look like they're going to go higher. In addition to that, the dollar is bottomed out, still in a downtrend, but the depth of that retracement, the move off of the low. And if we start looking at others, right, what trades against them, the euro's rolled over, the British pound is rolling over, head and shoulders top, Swiss down, Canada going down, breaking down. Here's Australia, up a little bit better because oil is stabilized, and the yen breaking down. So, if interest rates go up, dollar goes up, you see the 13-week going up. I think Trump could stand on his head and spin around. Powell's going to say, it ain't happening. That's what this implies. It ain't going down. So, right now, the markets are in a happy mood. Positive technicals, spiders gapping above 200 MA. What was resistance should become support. And he cleared those pivots and the 200. It's got room to go up. So anything I said this morning, that doesn't mean it can't go up further. But a close below a prior day's low would be the beginnings of a turn. Beginnings of a turn. So prices are flat here in SPX. I didn't adjust for this today. I didn't see it, but this definitely is going to be a lot wider than it was. Didn't have time this morning. But rest assured, after yesterday's gap up, this has expanded probably beyond 100. I, I can look. Let's just see other things here. Semis. I got. Mm, there's this one. This one. Options. S&P. Not much. Right. 92. Not much. Not a big deal. Anyway, so where are our prices? Mm, nothing even came close yesterday. 76, 60, all the way up. So on the 200, that's good. It's flat. So filling that gap today would be, well, it can't fill the gap. It could touch the 200. It definitely, if it filled the gap, that would be bad news, obviously. 79.20. And that came down. Interesting. Got tighter. Bottom side came up and the top side came down. So a big, a bit getting tighter again. All right. So there you have it. And in the middle there, which either one of them could be hit. So not a no-brainer. All yours, Dan. Good morning. The JF asking about Tesla. Oh, you're watching. Good. So we got inflation 2.8%, nowhere near the 2%. That's why that Fed guy that was on. So it was, he doesn't know about a cut, but we're into that mode again, talking every day about cuts. All right, so Tesla. I've been watching this for months. We've done a couple chart lessons on it, coaching, etc. The entry was last Friday. So it's now up 4 bars. So Friday was a definite breakout, but it closed with a topping tail. So we shorted puts in both letters, and it was on my long watch list. Yesterday's gap up messed it up because now it's up 4 bars, far from the 20. So the problem, it is a breakout. It is bullish weekly, bullish monthly. That's why I've been watching this thing for 2-3 months. Problem is, it's just not a good entry because where's your stop going to be? It has to be Friday's low. Um, so that's it. But it is bullish, yes. I noticed Microsoft here had a closing breakout. That is an amazingly bullish rectangle consolidation after that monster earnings gap. That was a huge percent. And now yesterday's close says it's going higher. Do what I always do, a couple alarms. Visco alarm went off, bottoming pattern. We're going to be scheduling a MT live here soon about bottoming patterns and inverse head and shoulders, just because there's been a lot of them. And so that's a nice one. I like when they get above the 20, 50 and avoid. It's, in one line, it's that simple. Pan W alarm, bullish consolidation, closing breakout, has a void up here to 205. So I'm going to watch this both for, I got it in my middle chart, both for directional and put spread, maybe selling the 190s is a little tight, but maybe selling the 190s and then roll if needed. IHF. We put this on short yesterday. Look at that nice gap down. Healthcare. Yeah, the UNH must be on that. Oh, duh. Look at UNH getting killed. Now I've been watching this one for weeks, but there's been zero, zero, zero turn. And now they, it's so funny when the news they say, oh, the CEO quit, to be with his family. I'm like, what a crock of shit. I mean, that is such code for
he got ousted. It's like, look at this chart. You're out of here. Um, so this I have in the bottom right is my, that's right. It's a possible exhaustion gap. Now you got to say possible because you don't know. Now, what would make it a better exhaustion gap, Alex, is if these bars were accelerating lower as opposed to controlled liquidation. But nevertheless, it's a nice gap down. So I'll tell you after the fact because it could gap down and sell off for 3 more days, 5 more days. I don't know. We don't, none of us know nothing. It's just, it's now in my watch department to do that. Um, have a alarm, um, kind of an inverse head and shoulder, another bottoming pattern as earnings on the 15th. I sold some 85s yesterday. Maybe I'll get a good gain and close them beforehand. AIG alarm, Sam, this was on your list. Buy setup into a WRB. Has room to the 86. See, Alex, here's another example. I always point out just because you and I are on this subject right now. This gap is my target. Whereas, there's 6 months ago, and I'm like, that's absolutely meaningless to me. But yeah, this has room to 86, the gap fill. Bye-bye. We have both short puts and long calls we entered yesterday. You can add over today's high. I'm having a hard time getting going, but I like that it's getting tight with all these 3 MAs. Same with Zoom. Look at all these 3 MAs. Red bar ignored, igniting bar. I posted an alert. Let's try to buy half on a pullback here to this 1060 area on the 15-minute chart. I'm not sure if we're going to get it. So, you know, I sure wish I saw that earlier because over Friday's high, I would have been all over that yesterday, but I didn't see it in time. A play alarm just went off. Another bottoming pattern. We're in this long call. So let me reset my alarm. Play. Up alarm. How about 2280 now? Low alarm 2170. All right, that's it. Let's go to earnings now. I deleted a bunch of these already. Well, here's some other miscellaneous things from yesterday. Brothers, that's the one that gapped up yesterday, and we didn't chase it, but it gave us an entry on this pullback right there. Elf, gap breakout, but need an entry. Lily, nice, nice 180 reversal here after gapping down. You can't get a good credit for a spread, but there's juice at the 700s if you're so inclined. But that eats a lot of buying power. Reddit, so it's coiling. I have an alarm up here at 114. All right, these are earnings now. Rig T, that's correct. Rig T is an island reversal, making that a breakout failure. We were thinking of buying calls on that as an earnings trade, but the gap up messed it up. But so right now, 10 and a quarter. It's bearish, but there's no setup. I did a couple naked puts trades myself yesterday. SMR was one of them. I sold the 14s. So I'm bidding 1 penny to get out. 1845. No great new trade. Triple D's getting killed. That was a nice igniting bar last Thursday. But wow, that's a nasty pro gap down. That stock's in trouble. Sam, we might have to yank that out of your ETF. ACHC, this is one I sold puts on. I think the 20s. I'm bidding 2 cents to get out. This 1550, it's bullish gap to resistance, no interest. JF, that's about Snap. The problem is it's in a tomorrow we're going to be talking about trading ranges, all different flavors of them. JF. So this actually is a trading range right now. It's a bottoming pattern, but it's up a lot from this support to this resistance. So the daily chart, I have zero interest. There's no pattern. It's a small little grinder on the 15 if you want to trade that pattern. Hey, you know what I was thinking, Alex? Too bad. Who owns Sam's Club? You know, because that's not a public company. I forget who owns it. But that I think, Sam, that's what we should name your ETF. Sam's Club. What do you think? Powie, the shows are capping down a few pennies. Okay, so Powie is a call spread idea. 10-minute low. Walmart, thanks. AMBC. There's no pattern, but it's bottoming pattern. I know, Sam's. I know that's yeah. Sam has Sam has two clubs. All right, I got filled on something right at the open, so I'm sure that's one of my put spreads or naked puts, whatever that I did on earnings. Yeah, I'm out of ASTS. Um, ASTS. Yeah, I was short the 20. What was I short? I was short the $20 puts. Oh wow, that's far away. I paid too much for them. I had a 5 cent bid. That's too much. No wonder I got filled so quick. All right, cyber. I shorted puts. This one's gapping against me a little bit, but I still am at 50% of max profit. No, yeah, 50% of max profit. I shorted the 320s down there by the 200, and I would have a bigger profit but for these spreads. So I got a couple spreads. Hey, are bye-bye moving here? Bye-bye. Um, all right, play alarm. I already did. Let's move the stop here now. 2158. Oh, coin. Look at coin ripping. That was on my long watch list, but they're getting added to one of the indexes. But that was a beautiful bottoming pattern on coin. All right, market's just flopping around here at the open. Look at coin. That is an igniting gap from a bottoming pattern. Screenshot of this. Beautiful bottoming pattern. There's been a lot of bottoming patterns here, which when you think about it, they're actually showing relative weakness because the markets are up a lot. I read in the journal it said the Qs are in bull market territory again. The bank doing great. For UNH. No, so Alex has it right now, 934. That is not an exhaustion gap. So because of the gap, you can see what I mean more about this. These steady bars are not a climo. That is steady liquidation. So ideally, this thing just sells off for another 3 days or more. I don't care. And get it down to maybe 300, the even number. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, get it down to 300, even number. Exactly. Delta 20 is asking about a net long. It's top of the range. It needs to go sideways more. So compare that delta to pan W. This one is superior. It's above all the MAs. It's bullish price action at resistance, and it has a void. So I know you didn't ask me, but this one stuck in my head because I looked at it this morning. So pan W, I'm going to set an alarm at 194. But do you see the difference? Pan W 194. Honeywell was on my list from yesterday. Nah. And I just get out of my cyber, made $1 on it, done with it. Nothing to do with it now. Cyber, you are gone. And coin is flying. Man, I love that bottoming pattern. The entry would have been over Friday's high. Put spread also. Play low alarm. Um, but play, I gave 2158 to that trigger. Um, all right, let's give it another penny. Because that kind of just it looks like a wide spread or something. We had the 19 calls. Wow, the spreads are ludicrous. But so what you got to do is, just go intrinsic value plus a nickel if stopped. AIG, yeah, that was on Sam's. I don't like the topping tail already. I don't know. It kind of trades like a slug. I'm not crazy about it. All right, let's move. Stop break even already on this thing. I guess, this is what has to be UNH in there. Give it a first, third target. About 46.15. Nvidia. Yeah, it was in the weekend letter, but Gap messed it up. Sign in. It's up too much at resistance. I got no interest. No, it's just too extended at resistance for the daily, unless you're just trading the 15 with the strength in the Qs. Um, Qs look higher. Look at the Amazon 15 is a beast. Meta 15 is a beast. So those, using pre-market data, those two look great. Nvidia looks great on the 15 also. AAL. I'm just not excited about most of these patterns, unless you're just day trading. STZ, finally we get out break even here. This thing's been dead money. So my break even alarm just went off. We are done with you. Now play stopping out. We're in 19. That's a dollar. Three, 263. Diamonds are a big old mess, obviously, because of UNH. Goldman up 7. It's the biggest gainer. And then Boeing up 5. $79. Alex's IT of yours still grinding. That was a nice. And again, if it closed like this tomorrow, you could buy it with the highs. But, or 30-minute high day trade also. Looks good. Tesla, we're still in those naked puts. Stop yesterday's low. Oh, Alex, I got filled on a race yesterday and didn't even know it because it's not in my positions now. So I got filled at a nickel yesterday. Cool. Yeah, no, no problem. No problem. All right. Now let's go. AI, we need to pull back, but another bottoming pattern. Let me check puts on the UNH. Totally not ready, but let's see how jacked they are. 290s or a dollar. Wow, incredibly tight spreads for a change. The 290s have a penny spread. The 300s, 5 cents. That is incredibly tight for this thing. So that means there's a lot of players on it right now. Hey, I noticed ELV also got whacked. Look at that. I don't know if that's, I mean, I don't have an answer, but I noticed that I didn't check the news. SPGI, that's a grinder. I don't like him. Yeah, I like this one better, Thomas. Yeah, that's bottoming pattern. with a void to the 50 MA, just 2 to 3 days. I like the weekly also. Yeah, that I like. Yep, yep, I'll set an alarm. Ah, remember Don Powie? I didn't get around to it. Powie, I said call spread, remember? That would have worked well, but obviously too late now. Got my SMR, so puts on this one too. So I only had one losing put spread in like the last 30. I forget which one it was. So that does not mean you get cocky. It just means good. All right, so this one I'm bidding a penny to get out. I'm short the 14s, and I'm bidding a penny, and the spread is a penny by 11 cents. So another one with stupid spreads. Vonage, not bad, not great. I can find better, but set an alarm. Yeah, let me check puts on this. I got my alarm set at whatever I told you. I think 193.90. 190s. Oh shit, they just dropped them. It was like 95 cents and they just dropped them to 78. 190, 185, 68 cents. I'm gonna send an order for 70 cents just because a little spreading. And then let me check next week also. But 520 is next week. So you can't do it. But yeah, this could be a 30-minute higher. See, it's close to support, so I like this one better than a number of these where you've heard me say they're far extended too much. Is there any um, economic at 10 o'clock? I didn't look. But yeah, let's buy 30-minute high. Stock yesterday slow. Actually, it just triggered here. Qs are strong. Um, I mean, you got this pre-market resistance from the last 2 days. Let's do it. Let's do a half lot and then half lot 30-minute high. Yeah, like, is that where I got this from you? Was this one of your finalists that I kept yesterday, Sal? Me. Well, wherever I got it from, it was on my list. I liked it. And I got filled on the put spread there. Finally. That's what I did, Polly. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. But I got yeah, that's exactly what I did. Yeah. I think I got filled at 68. I'm not sure. It's a little tight, but I like the pattern and the cues are strong. And Tesla, I would like a controlled pullback, at least partially into this gap, but we still have our put spread. Yep, Nvidia's flying. Even Netflix, I said I was gonna watch another bounce and failure. Marvel. Hmm, Got 5 bars, but I like the 15. Yeah, I think we're just momentum trading here more so on the 15-minute chart. It's harder to find good daily setups. Yeah, that's better. Yeah.